I am Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Soucy.
And we're paranormal specialists who live in the most haunted city on Earth, Savannah, Georgia. Every day is Halloween in our line of work, so join us as we spin true tales of haunts, murders, and disturbing Savannah history. I'm Madison.
I'm Chris.
And welcome to the most haunted city on Earth.
Boom.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the most haunted city on Earth. My name is Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Soucy.
And today we are back in Micaville Outpost. Well, we never left, but you're back.
We never leave.
We never leave. Once you're in here, you can't leave.
I come with
Always room for one more.
But yes, we are here with Becky and Noah, and if you did not watch part one, talking about the rules of Appalachia, the superstitions, folklore, all that fun jazz, go back and watch that one or listen to that one. But today we are going to be talking about Appalachian cryptids. Ooh. Nice and fun and spooky. We love it. We love a good cryptid. Y'all know how I feel about Mothman, although that's technically West Virginia, not North Carolina, but still.
Still an Appalachian cryptid.
Exactly. Before we get into our cryptids, though, we do want to say that the Waverly Hills documentary that we created, Waverly Hills, 5 Floors of Pain, we are going to be releasing that to the public on May 24th. And if you are itching to watch it, we do technically already have it up, but it is only on Patreon for the Parajunkies. And that is live at this point and ad-free. So if you want to watch it without ads, you know where to find it. But, yep, let's get into, first before we actually get into the cryptids, let's talk about the Brown Mountain Lights. So do y'all want to explain kind of what it is first?
So the Brown Mountain Lights are ghost lights that have been visible forever. There's, of course, indigenous culture, superstitions and folklore about it. But basically, on the Blue Ridge Parkway, there's Brown Mountain Overlook. And you're looking across the Linville Gorge. Beautiful area. But there are these strange lights that appear. Sometimes they're so bright, you can see that the lights are behind the trees. You can see the silhouette of the trees. The lights will drift up over the ridge. Sometimes they'll be really slow. Sometimes they'll move very quickly. You want to talk about the study?
Yeah, so the U.S. Geological Survey started looking into the lights because nobody could figure out what they were. The Cherokee and Choctaw idea or legend was that there had been a huge battle there between the tribes, and the lights were the women looking for their fallen husbands. Then roads came and they thought, well, maybe it's car headlights or the train lights. But then we had a massive flood, 1917?
There was one in 17, yep.
Washed out the tracks and the roads. The lights were still there. There's no swamp areas, so no swamp gas, which is always the first go-to. There's nothing bog related on the mountainside. So they've knocked out every possibility because these things move. It's not people's houses, it's not campfires, it's not a flashlight, because Noah's been there and had orbs come floating at him. It's just
they're silent. They seem to be about they're a little bit bigger than a human. We had an old man come in the other day and he said, "Oh, you're working on the Brown Mountain Lights?" And we said, "Yeah, we're trying to get all of our Appalachian cryptids painted and up in the store." And he said, I seen them just right in front of me when I was camping up there when I was a little boy. And I was like, you saw the Round Mountain Lights like face to face? He said, yeah, it's an orb of light appeared in the woods about a little bit bigger than a person. And they're on camera. You can watch, if you just Google Brown Mountain Lights, there's all sorts of information, but doesn't Appalachian State still have a...
Yeah, there's a prophet App State who's still doing a study, and I don't think he's come up with anything new. I mean, they're on video. You can look at atmospheric studies and all, but they come at all seasons, although most people say you see them more often in the fall. I've never seen them. I've spent a lot of time out in the gorge, but I've never gone looking for. But I know people who went one time and, oh my God, there they are. So, just bad luck on my part. Now, we have a friend who works up at a very exclusive mountaintop community near here, and she had someone out doing drone video. And, they were all over the mountain. There's a landing strip. People could fly in to this place.
Wow.
It's very posh.
Very posh.
Very ritzy. We sat up there looking for auroras the other night on the strip, which was pretty cool. So he's just doing footage, probably for ads or whatever. And looking at the video later, he realizes this light comes blasting through some of the footage. Not a plane, not a bird. It's not anything he's seen before. It's an orb of light. It's the same exact color as the clouds, which getting a match on that is not going to happen, just in general. And my friend the naturalist, and he worked out that it was heading from this mountain towards Brown Mountain. We've posted the video on our website, or on our Facebook and Instagram pages. We still don't know what it is, but they're out there, so not technically a cryptid, but it's still cryptic. We have no idea.
The last time I saw them, there was a person from Boone. We're very close by, Boone, Asheville, Johnson City, Tennessee. And he was playing the bagpipes, and that's when we saw, and this is the only time I've probably been up there, 50 times in my life. Wow. I've seen the lights probably a dozen times where I've known. Sometimes they're so little, it's like your eyes are playing tricks on you, and sometimes it's amazing. But yeah, he was playing bagpipes, and this thing just came right over the gorge, right over our heads. One light, silent, absolutely incredible.
It's like it was a siren call for the
kind of, yeah, right.
Yeah, so is bagpiping like whistling after dark?
Ooh,
there you go.
I like your thinking.
I mean, if I were a skinwalker and I heard bagpipes after dark, I would have not heard it. It's bagpipes.
But it's beautiful, and I'll give you an inside scoop. Brown Mountain overlook is usually very crowded, so there are other places you can see the Brown Mountain lights. We love Wiseman's View, and then Chestoa Overlook. That's one of that's where a murder occurred not too long ago. It's been in my lifetime. I think it was a teenager. A man took his wife and I think her friend to Chestoa, and he had just taken out an insurance policy. And he had them stand on the rock overlook ledge for a picture and then push them both over. They didn't die right away, so he had to figure out how to climb down there and finish them off. So if you do go to Chestoa Overlook to see the Brown Mountain Lights, you can occasionally hear crying. Now, could it be a fox or something? Maybe, but it's a really weird location. It's very spooky up there.
Ooh, oh, that is definitely up for grabs for the next Estes method. Ooh, that's creepy.
Yeah, I remember that in the paper. That was
Oh, yeah.
15 years ago, maybe? 20?
I'm enthralled. I am a true crime lover. This is a paranormal podcast, but I am a true crime lover, so I am fascinated. Now, for cryptids, I know there's like 9 billion of them that we could go into, but let's just go top 5. What are y'all's top 5 favorite cryptids?
Well,
The one that's been seen the most around here is Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Okay.
And generally he's called Bigfoot here instead of Squatch. I think it's mostly interchangeable. The hairy man, I've
Right.
heard a bit.
Mm-hmm.
After that, probably the Wampus cat.
They're so cute.
That's a Cherokee, isn't it?
Most of these are.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of these date back now to
Now,
Native
the
American.
Wampus cat is sometimes depicted as a female human with 6 legs. She's a little scary. This one I think is really cute, especially with the RC cola.
Yes. He just got a little thirsty.
Yes. After that, I don't know. Who's your pick?
I mean, people talk about Mothman. Oh, the Moon-eyed people.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for heaven's
Kentucky.
sakes. Oh, yeah.
I've had one scare the pee out of me in this building.
A moon-eyed person?
A painting of a Moon-eyed
okay.
person.
Okay. I was like, hold on. What?
When it was a work in progress, Becky, who was brave enough to come in here at night,
I've worked here for years, and so I don't turn the lights on. I'm dropping off old furniture because we're setting up. Thought, oh, I'm here. I'll go use the restroom. Well, she had just started on him, so his head was painted in his arms and legs. You know, midnight black with a little bit of star sparkle.
big eyes.
He's plywood, and his chest hadn't been painted yet. I didn't even think about him. I came out of the bathroom, and right across from me was this giant creature with giant moon eyes, all black, wearing a wife beater t-shirt, which I don't know if you're supposed to even call him that anymore. I was so glad I'd already peed. I was so mad.
Was it holding a moon pie at that point?
It had just been drawn in. It hadn't been painted in
Oh,
yet.
okay.
But yes, he had the head and the big eyes. And yeah, he was a little... I forgot he was there.
There's so many Bigfoot sightings, and we have so many customers come in, and they live between here and the Blue Ridge Parkway. This is Highway 80 South. But our mailman's wife, Rita, she came in and was so glad that we were here because she had her story of Bigfoot in her backyard. And there was another sighting about 30 minutes from here. That's definitely the thing that many people claim to have seen around here. And I had this really weird experience when I was a kid. My dad had let my cousin and I borrow his new Eureka tent, you know, this fancy tent he was going to use to take to Montana for a camping trip. And so we set up in the woods, and we were maybe 13 or 14 years old. We were completely by ourselves. And we got really tired after scaring each other with ghost stories around the campfire. And we got in the tent, and we had what sounded like a big clod of dirt hit the side of the tent and hit it really hard. And at first we thought, okay, dad's followed us, or maybe my brother, and they're just messing with us. And then we started getting bombarded from every side with rocks, and it was starting to hurt. So we got in our sleeping bags and tucked down, and it got so violent that it actually ended up breaking one of the tent poles, and so the tent collapsed on us. And we stayed under that all night long until morning. And we didn't sleep at all. It was horrible. We were miserable. We were hot. When we dug out the next morning, we got up. There were no rocks, no sticks, no dirt clods, nothing at all on top of the tent. This happened about 20 miles from the store. When I tell people about it, especially old timers, are like, oh yeah, that was the Bigfoot or the hairy man, or you must have been in something's territory. But I know it wasn't Dad, because he would have never torn up his brand new experience. It was just one of many bizarre stories in the area.
Ooh.
Yeah, unexplainable.
Yeah, it sounds like something was not happy that you were there, you know?
Absolutely not.
What color was the tent?
It was chartreuse, almost.
Oh, there's why.
It was about this color.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
That's too bad.
maybe a little more towards olive.
A little more towards olive.
Just didn't like the color of the tent.
That
Yeah.
could have been
Trying
it.
to get you teenage boys out of there.
I guess so.
I'm like the ghost that I grew up with. Hated teenage boys. Just get out. Get away.
You know, up here we have the little people. I mean, not necessarily cryptids, I guess. More of a folklore kind of native
Yeah,
legend.
they're like the ones that live underground, right? Yep.
Yep.
Those are always interesting. You want to tell that story?
Well, there's a road in Burnsville. We're about 4 miles from the town of Burnsville, and it's Green Mountain Drive. And there's so many people that happen to live on that road who have all experienced seeing at night in the dark, outside in their yards, these furry little hairy creatures. And we did a story about it on one of our posts and kind of made an illustration based on their description. But big grinning, smiling thing with huge white teeth, sharp teeth, and you know, kind of like apish looking, but scrappier, skinnier maybe.
That's scrappy.
But I just think that is bizarre.
I've
I
never
live right
heard
off
that.
of Green Mountain Drive. Now I'm worried about wandering around. And I walk on Green Mountain at night. Not anymore.
So I don't know if I would classify those as the small or little people, the underground people, whatever you want to call them. But still horrifying.
It's horrifying.
It feels very dwarf-like, or what would you call that, Chris? Like a hairy, scrappy ball of fur that goes into your yard.
There's so many words that come to mind: hobgoblin, kobolds, you know, all various forms of little hairy troll-like creatures that live under the ground. And yeah, it's interesting because the more steps you take away from like a human aspect, you know, then you're kind of dealing with like, you know, could this be some kind of, you know, primate that we just don't know about, you know, some kind of lemur. I encountered lemurs in South America, but all the locals called them devils. It's like, beware of the devils will come for you. And you know, when you hear that, you're like, what? And it turned out it was lemurs, or tamarins, excuse me, they were tamarins. And so the tamarins would come out of the trees and steal your stuff. And you know, you're looking and there's like this, it looks like a little old man, bright orange, but he's like this big, and he's like, got your snacks. He's like, and then he runs off.
That is
And you're like,
terrifying.
oh, they are little devils.
The tamarins are just here to disrespect you. That's
Oh,
their
and
goal.
their faces, stone cold faces. You know, they're just looking at you like, what? What are you gonna do? I've got your Snickers bar. Gone.
I've never heard of a fuzzy monster in the yard, but I need to read your post on that because fascinating.
It's so interesting. And Green Mountain Drive is it's probably one of the highest, it's at the bottom of one of the highest peaks outside of peaks on the Blue Ridge Parkway. But in town, it's kind of our highest peak. And until very recently, very wooded. You know, now we're getting more and more people moving in and houses being built. But yeah, I remember hearing it for the first time when I was in high school. Other kids talking about it, and then I've heard adults, and it may just be I don't know. I would be thrilled to have lemurs.
Absolutely.
Might get
or
in trouble
even
for
tamarins.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, little weird primates. We actually have an area in just south of Savannah where there was a monkey farm. It was like a place where circus and zoo animals were being kept, all primates. And then to this day, there are sightings in the woods where people claim to have seen either a gorilla or a monkey of some type. And you're like, well, you know, there was that farm like 30 plus years ago, right along 17. So maybe somebody had some pet monkeys and just let them loose.
Well,
in the woods up there.
the farm also had a big storm come through and take out some of the pens. And so monkeys did get loose. That's why there's monkeys that live in Florida now. Same thing. They were penned, big hurricane came, they got loose. Google herpes monkeys.
No.
There you go. We even have like Monkey Island right off the coast of South Carolina, just off the coast of Savannah, which was where they research disease. So they have like this big population of diseased monkeys right off the shore.
Yeah, good to
But
know.
luckily they can't swim, or so they tell us.
We hope.
Monkeys and zombies,
hope.
hopefully.
Here's hoping.
Zombie monkeys.
Oh, that's a terrible thing to think about. But I think about the scale of a primate. If you're just walking through the woods and you would come on that, come upon it, and then based on compared to like the size of a freaking Bigfoot, like seeing something 7 or 8 feet tall, that's horrible to think about. How terrifying that would be. And people up here who are skeptics, they're like, oh, black bear, they're standing up on their hind legs. And
Sure.
the story that we had posted and talked about before with the 3 girls who were whistling and apparently came upon a bear or a skinwalker or whatever it was, people were commenting, oh yeah, they came upon a Bigfoot. So who knows up here? What was it Jane Goodall had said about?
Every continent she goes to, every tribe or group of people she meets, she asks her interpreter to ask them, have you ever seen a hairless ape here?
Tailless. Is it tailless or hairless?
Tailless.
Tailless.
Tailless. There's primates, there's us, there's orangutans, baboons. That's about it that we know of. And every tribe she has asked that of, everywhere in the world, has said, oh yes, and they're bigger than us. She can't rule out the idea of Bigfoot or Bigfoot type creatures anywhere in the world. Just because we haven't seen them, she's absolutely boss scientist. We haven't seen them, that doesn't mean they're not there. Because we're still finding megafauna
That's true.
all the time. I mean, yeah, we find spiders and beetles, but they're this big. Of course we're going to find ones we haven't seen before. But we're still finding megafauna that we didn't know about. So, yeah, absolutely could.
Why not?
So next time you're in Western North Carolina, go Bigfoot hunting, y'all. Oops.
Absolutely.
And look for tiny monkeys that are terrorizing the neighborhoods.
Let's
But
stop here first and grab some snacks for the road.
there you go.
Good plug.
Isn't there a Bigfoot in North Carolina that has a name? That is a named entity?
Fred?
I would like that to be the case. No, it's like Nobby. Nobby?
Nobby.
Nobby?
I will have to look that up. I haven't
I
heard
might,
about
I
Nobby.
might be making it up.
I don't know.
Don't
Nobby the Bigfoot.
My God, we're supposed to be cryptid experts. We need to know this.
I feel like because the distinction they made was it is more blonde than it is like the classic blackish Sasquatchy Bigfoot. So, don't quote me. I could be very wrong. But I feel like there was a cryptid, and I want to say it was Nobby, but that might be just me, channeling some Harry Potter nonsense.
or Terry Pratchett, or
Or Terry Pratchett, right. It definitely sounds like a Britishy kind of, and then Nobby came out of the woods. And so, because the other one that I was going to ask about, I want to say
Boo.
the Boo Hag.
It's like the Boo Hag, but it's a man. So I almost want to say Boo Jim.
Yes. Yeah, there's Boojum Brewing Company, actually. I'll give them a shout out.
Cool.
Yeah, so the same sort of, just the male version of the Boo Hag, basically.
Right. But it's the only reason I know him is because they say that the word hootenanny is is the sound he makes. He and his clan or whatever, the sound that they make is hootenanny. So it's an onomatopoeia of the call of the boojim. Is it boojim?
We have the mush mouth, so boojum.
Yeah. But I oftentimes wondered if it wasn't some kind of interesting derivation, because the boo hag, and talking about the boo hag, it's like, is it possible that as people are cross-referencing their folklore, they're like, well, I encountered a strange man creature in the mountains, like your boo hag, but it was male, and then they
Just decide to call him Boojum.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. It's such a melting pot of cultures up here. So everything just sort of melts together.
Exactly.
We've created our own monsters up here.
Well,
They've created us. I'm not sure which came first.
Now, did you all know there's a Bigfoot festival coming up?
yes, yes. My dad really wanted us to go with him.
Next weekend, right?
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if y'all are in the area, go to the Bigfoot Festival.
You're Marion.
Ooh, there you go. Not too far from here.
That's right.
But yeah, well, on the note of Boojum and Nobby the albino Bigfoot.
Again, don't quote me on that.
Yeah, well, you're getting close, Chris.
There's going to be merch with Nobby.
I've got a lot of cryptids in my head, all right, and I don't know where they're all from. But wait. There's one more.
There's another. There's a trio.
Well, no. It's a beast of. Oh wait, is that Kentucky? The beast of.
Oh yeah.
Bullet.
Yeah, Beast of Bullet County.
Yeah.
That's Kentucky.
Never mind.
Technically still Appalachia, so it's
Absolutely.
it counts. But but with that, y'all, thank you guys again for joining us and sharing your knowledge. And if you guys are in anywhere in the Asheville vicinity of coming over to Micaville, step on over to the Micaville Outpost. Come get you some cute artwork, a moon pie, an RC cola, and talk some cryptids.
And meet our haunted dolls.
Meet your haunted dolls. There are plenty of them. But with that, y'all, my name is Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Susi.
And stay spooky, y'all.